But we begin tonight's politics news with Script, Ohio. Script, Ohio is the highest manifestation of American college football marching band fight song performance. The school that we're talking about here is The Ohio State University. They are based in Columbus, Ohio, and actually, Bill, maybe you can explain this. Bill Wolf, executive producer of the Rachel Maddow Show. Please explain Script, Ohio to us.
Rachel, you're off to a flying start. It is The Ohio State University, home of the Buckeyes, Columbus, Ohio. And their marching band, which they call the best damn band in the land officially, like even children call it the best damn band in the land. Before every humongous football game, this giant marching band comes out on the field in a horseshoe stadium called the Horseshoe, and they spell out Ohio in cursive. There you see it on the screen.
Wow.
And the entire time that they're spelling it out in cursive, which is awesome, the crowd of 100,000 people all dressed in red and committed to the Buckeyes is going absolutely berserk. Now, you see the I there in Ohio.
Yeah.
The pinnacle moment, the key thing is the dotting of the I. When a special chosen senior sousaphone player and the drum major do that.
Yeah.
High stepping it. The drum major points to where the guy's going to stand. Then the guy stands there and then bows to the crowd because he's dotting the I. And everybody is more fired up than we ever get fired up about anything. And it is totally tremendous. Like, I'm fired up now. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
Well, the only reason I know this exists because you, while not having gone to The Ohio State University, you, Bill Wolf, the fight song thing is sort of what you do to get yourself psyched for your daily non-football life. I mean, you use fight songs to get yourself psyched for this show every day.
Yes, I do.
If you follow our show online, you may know that Bill does short videos promoting what is happening on the show each night. We post them on Twitter. We post them on our website. If you pay very close attention to what we do online, you may have also noticed what Bill is sometimes doing at the start of those little short video clips.
When I was a kid, when the St. Louis Blues hockey team would come on the air, this would happen. And then the voice of the announcer would say, "The St. Louis Blues are on the air." And the hair on the back of my neck would stand up. I get so fired up. This is Script, Ohio. I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Missouri. But I love all marching band. Hang on. It's the best thing in the world. It is literally the best thing in the world. You know, I'm not from Tennessee. But, you know, we all envy each other's cultures in certain ways, right? I mean, there are just certain ways that certain people from certain places do certain things that make you say, man, wish I did it like that. Rocky Top? We're with you, Tennessee. Well, so humiliating.
No, it's brilliant because you're totally uncynical about it. I mean, you didn't go to Tennessee, you didn't go to Ohio State, you didn't go to any of those places, but it's not even like you get fired up. It's like you become an animal, like a weepy, fired up, emotional in all good ways animal about fight songs.
Bring myself to tears. It's totally true.
What is it about you and fight songs?
You know, it's hard. I've been thinking about what it is, and I can't really, I don't know, except to say, I think it has to do with pride. You see all those people listening to that song, and it makes them proud of where they come from, and there's a sort of a certainty about the righteousness of being from Tennessee, and it's all very harmless because it's just a football team and nothing really bad is going to happen, so you don't have to worry about the negative implications of that. It's the pride and the self-identity, and they hear that song, and it could be like if they were on their deathbeds and they just heard the tune, you know, the Buckeye battle cry. We have a heartbeat. And then suddenly they'd be up and they want to go. And it makes me feel that way because.
But that what you are expressing right there, and you're getting fired up talking about it right now.
I am.
And I know that when you go to the gym, the only music that you will listen to when you're at the gym trying to make yourself go farther is fight songs on your iPod.
Other people's fight songs. Doesn't matter.
This evidence that we have before us here in you, manifested in Bill Wolf, this phenomenon, being fired up like that, that is the key to the most important thing going on in American politics right now. I am convinced. This weekend, Congress is going to be in session. This weekend, on a Saturday. We heard it as breaking news last night during this show. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid announcing that he is not letting the Senate go home. The Democratic leadership is keeping the Senate in Washington over the weekend because the thing that we have been talking about, the thing that they have been fighting about for months now, is finally going to happen tomorrow on the weekend. Senate Democrats are finally going to do it. They are finally going to go through with this vote that they've been trying to psych themselves up for On the Bush tax cuts, the Democrats' position on this has been really clear for a really long time. Barack Obama said as a candidate, and President Obama said a ton of times as president, that the Bush tax cuts should be extended for the first $250,000 of income. But above that, no, we cannot afford it, and it is not good for the economy. The first $250,000 of income, yes. Above that, no. The Democrats drew that line in the sand. They drew it before this session of Congress started, before President Obama was elected. They have drawn it 1,000,000 times over since he was elected. Now, if you read the Beltway press, nobody thinks that line in the sand means anything anymore. But tomorrow we are going to find out if the Democrats can do it. If they have the courage of their convictions, if they can say, you know what, Republicans, you don't like the way we're going to do it, fine. Then the Bush tax cuts are going to expire. Thank you for the filibuster. You just raised taxes on the entire country. You are doing it our way because it's responsible to do it our way and it's irresponsible to do it any other way, or you are not doing it. We have the majority in this branch of the legislature. The House already voted on it. The president's going to sign it. This is how it's going to be. You are not getting your way. We're right. You're wrong. The public's with us. And we are not caving. We're going to do what's right for the country. That's what Senate Democrats have to decide if they have it in themselves to do. What do they need to be able to do that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Have a great show. You can do it. Come on, Rachel.
This is not a matter of figuring out the policy. That is done. This is not a matter of doing the polling. That's been done. This is not a matter of doing the math. The math has been done. The argument has been made. The numbers have been crunched. The debate has been worked through. It is a matter of whether or not the Democrats are psyched. It's a matter of whether or not the Democrats have the fight in them to make this happen. Congressman Wiener, I am honored that you are still here and that you have not been scared off by what we just did in this studio.
Well, you know, Bill has me thinking, I'm not sure what the Plattsburgh State Fight song even is. I think it's a Huey Lewis B-side or something like that. I don't even think we have a song. I think Oswego Sucks was our theme song. I don't even know what that is.
None of the songs that Bill listens to get himself fired up have anything to do with his own collegiate experience. He just loves the fact of people getting psyched
Now,
out.
do they charge him 2 fares in the subway with that hat? Is that, or does he walk around?
It's the baton, actually, that nails him on the double fare. Is there a Democratic fight song? I mean, are Democrats psyched? Is there a fight song playing in their heads at this point?
Well, you know, we've been giving this a lot of thought since November 2nd, but frankly, we should have been thinking of this all along, that the idea, I think the American people have kind of lost track what it is that we believe.
Yeah.
And there is so much of this that has gotten lost because it's all about the transaction in Washington, and people forget that fundamentally as Democrats, this isn't a game, this isn't a contest. We believe in the idea that the middle class and those struggling to make it, they need a break. We believe in the idea that, frankly, the people that are unemployed need a little bit of a break. And what's happened here is that these are things that I thought the Republicans said they believed also. They're the ones gaming this system, and the only way to point that out is to every day say what it is that we're willing to fight for. I hope that the president understands that sooner or later we have to do that. The Senate's going to do it tomorrow morning, and hopefully if someone threatens to filibuster, it's not just a threat. We get a chance to watch it. I want to see Mitch McConnell stand up and filibuster the idea that 97% of the American public is going to get a tax cut if he doesn't sit down. And that's the point. I think that, frankly, we've lost sight of this, and it's not just a contest. This is why the American people lost sight of what Democrats believe, and hopefully we're going to get it back.
What I see as the difference between the parties right now is not just the differences on policies and values like you were just describing. It's also, I think there's a fundamental difference between the parties on whether or not they see confrontation as constructive. Republicans clearly see confrontation as a way to sharpen the differences between the two parties, as a way to get their way. They think that when they confront Democrats, Democrats will cave and they're more likely to get Republican policies. Democrats have been looking, particularly in the Senate, have been looking for ways to avoid confrontation, try to work everything out by deals, not have sort of head-to-head combat on issues like this. And on the tax cuts, if they're going to get their way, it's going to have to be combat, isn't it?
Yeah, and let's take a look at the Republican narrative. You can't say that they're wrong. We negotiated in good faith on the stimulus bill, watered it down to get their votes, got none. They then bragged that they didn't vote for it. Healthcare bill, same way. We watered it down to get their votes, got none. Just about every step of the way. And then came November 2nd. They walked around and said, we voted no on everything. Now, usually the American people don't like that. Usually the American people say, you know what, we want problem solving. But since we didn't have any real law-abiding philosophy on our side, they chose the Republican tactic. And I think what we've got to say is we're the opposite. We actually want to do things to help the American people, and they're still saying no. Now, what's going to happen in January? What's going to happen in January is they're going to be in charge. Then what happens? They stand up every day and say what they're against and go home. And I think the president has kind of enabled them a little bit in this, because he's kind of said, okay, you know, I'll sit down and I'll make a deal with you on these things, when the American people, I think, to some degree want to know first and foremost what it is we're fighting for. And in this case, what the Senate is going to do more is say we're fighting for middle-class people and those struggling to make it. We're fighting for people who are unemployed. And we're fighting for a sound fiscal future for our country. And the Republicans are going to be lockstep no on all of those things.
And I think what people are going to be looking for, though, I mean, the polling numbers on the policy are with Democrats on this. Overwhelmingly, I mean, it's a huge gap in the polls in terms of people agreeing with Democrats. People think that for income above $250,000, the tax cuts should expire. We can't afford that in terms of our debt and deficit. That's sort of settled in terms of what the American people favor. I think the question, though, is when Democrats are going to fight for this, how hard are they going to fight? And that is a very concrete measure, which is that Senate Democrats have a choice about whether or not they're going to let the Bush tax cuts expire in January if Republicans don't come along. Do you think they've got it in them?
Well, I hope so. Look, here's what we do know. The Republicans have done a very good job sticking together fighting for billionaires. They've taken an unpopular position, and they've stuck with it, and they're getting rewarded for it. Well, why is it? Because it's one hand clapping. We have not done a good job of saying, here's who we're fighting for. Here's who we're going to go down to the floor of the House and Senate and fight for, and we're going to make them go on the record on it. There's been too much of this kind of weird sense of, you know what, let's just try to parse the differences here. No, these differences are pretty darn big. Yeah. They want tax cuts for billionaires. We don't. They want to leave the unemployed out there hanging dry. Most American people and the Democrats don't. But we don't get a chance to have that clear binary argument, because I think there's too much of this notion that everything is a deal in Washington. 100%.
Yeah. Well, right now, Democrats have as much leverage as they want to exert, and it's going to be a big politics weekend watching the way this unfolds. Congressman Anthony Weiner, Democrat of New York, and a good sport for enduring our silliness here. Thank you, sir.
Go Plattsburgh State.
Who sucks? Oswego?
Oswego State was our big rival.
All right.
Yeah, as much as Plattsburgh has rivals.
You hear that, Oswego? Right here, man.